I'm delighted to say I'm joined by the newest winner on the European Tour, Devon Petersen. Thanks very much for joining us again, Devon. How you doing?
Hey, Alex, I'm great, my man. Just living the proverbial dream, as one would say, in this current situation.
Glad to hear it. And we're talking still less than 48 hours after you won the German Darts Championship in Hildesheim over the weekend. What have the last 2 days been like since you won the final on Sunday night?
It's been manic. I just can't imagine how Michael and Phil and all these champions do it, like constantly, like media commitment and so on and so forth. And I think that's why they have actually gatekeepers, because everybody knows that they can reach me directly. You know what I mean? So I'm never going to turn away or say no to anybody. So most of the time. So yeah, it's just been crazy, like all the time, non-stop radio, TV, and now podcasts. And yeah, today was an absolute media fest. Yesterday and tomorrow it will be quieting down because I need to get back to getting ready for Grand Prix. So I didn't take too many kind of commitments tomorrow, and then for the rest of the week I'll take none.
Well, we last had you on, as I mentioned off air, just after the summer series, but for yourself and all the non-Premier League players, it would be 2 months before we'd see you playing again on the tour. What did you do during that break without the competition?
Just played online, but a lot of the time just working behind the scenes, especially mental development and personal development as well. So just looking at approach, different ways to remain focused and calm. And yeah, I can say that there's a lot of things that I found out about myself, and I was happy that I took the time out and I could implement it into my game, which proved to be successful.
The first of 2 trips that you made to Germany this month was for the Autumn Series a couple of weeks ago now, but we didn't see you enter the World Series Finals qualifier on the Friday. Why was that? My wife was expecting a baby on the 18th, and we obviously never told anybody. So yeah, I wasn't able to obviously attend. Even if I qualified, I wasn't able to attend the World Series. So I opted not to because I didn't want to miss the birth of my baby daughter. And has the new one arrived?
Yeah, she's healthy, she's beautiful. And it's great to have a new baby in the house. My son's only 2 years and 2 months, so he's full of attitude, changing on a daily basis. And yeah, it's really something that is unique and a different approach. Obviously, being a father for the second time is quite different to when I was the first. So I know a lot more now, but yeah, a lot of different things now as well.
Happy days. Well, you picked up where you left off anyway in the darts with the Autumn Series. The next day, obviously after that qualifier, you had a run to the semi-finals, a couple of early exits the next 2 days. So how were you feeling going into the final 2 days of the Autumn Series?
I felt great though. I think the Autumn Series, having that block of 5, it allows you to not make mistakes, but it allows you to not put too much pressure on yourself to achieve immediately. You know what I mean? I got out of blocks. I knew that I needed to qualify for the Grand Prix, and I wanted to play well from the start. And when I got out of the blocks in the first day, semi-final was a great achievement. I thought I was going to make my first final, but Meadows Rasmo was fantastic on the finishing and the treble 19, which he killed me on. So yeah, kudos to him. And after that, I did have a knock-on effect, but I really looked at my game, and it's the day that I got to the final. I thought I was going to win, and I should have crossed the line, but I think just inexperience at that moment of that champion dart, for example, and I learned something very quickly that day, and it spurred me on to win the German darts championships.
Just touching on that final then that you had with Gerwyn Price during that Autumn Series, how important was it for you then to have the Euro Tour so soon after, so you had something to focus and prepare for and put that defeat to one side?
I don't think the speed of the tournament or how quick it came around was no factor. I enjoy working on my game, so even if it was further away, it just got me to the next level. It got me to the next step or opportunity to actually achieve the next level, basically. And yeah, I was really really pleased at how I adapted after the Gerwyn Price, because I felt as though I played enough, I just didn't win, and I also felt like it wasn't going to be the last time I got to a final. So I never took it too hard. I was disappointed that I lost, but it didn't kill me, and I felt as though I can always learn from those opportunities, and I learned a lot, and especially playing against Devon Petersen, and the quality of the man currently now in his form of his life. And yeah, just found something else against him, and again, obviously it's progress, and it had a domino effect. So I'm happy to have that experience under my belt now, going into the back end of all these majors as well. So yeah, hopefully it holds a lot more future experiences like that, and you never know what could happen.
And as luck would have it, you'd face off against Going Price again this past weekend at the second round of the tournament over in Germany, and 5-1 down, 5 legs in a row to come through 6-5, a lot of maximums. I think you had 8 180s in the end in that game. How much confidence did you take from that win?
Loads. I mean, throwing eight maximums, but most of them coming at the back, and I think 50% of them coming at the back end of the game itself. And knowing at that point in time, 5-1 down, you're going to need to actually push hard. And I realized very quickly that it's either fight or flight, and I'm a fighter kind of guy. So yeah, it was amazing, and also to know the form that he was in, and so it gave me a lot of credibility as well, and a lot of confidence to know that I could perform under that pressure and constantly perform as well, and then coming away with a win. Because a lot of times you can perform well, and then a player could steal it on the last leg, and you make a mistake. But because I think there was so much learning opportunities in the summer series, autumn series, and then just taking it on to that stage there and playing in the peak form of his life and being able to get over the line before he does is fantastic.
And then you get past another top 5 player in Rob Cross to make the final session, and that final session you beat Krzysztof Ratajski, Danny Noppert, and then Johnny Clayton to win the title. Can you describe what that feeling was like when the double 18 goes in first start and you've won the title?
I think the double 18 it wasn't premeditated, but when I went for the double 18, it was, weirdly enough, I felt that was the calmest time I've ever felt over the course of the weekend. Like, I approached it and I knew that I was going to hit it. Like, it's not that I don't know that I'm going to hit it before, but, like, for the winning double and all of these things, and I think that experience can only give you that. Experiencing missing a dart or 4 darts at a double to win and the calmness I experienced in was exactly showing the maturity or the ability to learn from a negative opportunity and turn it into a positive. It was phenomenal, and I just felt like it wasn't a weight lifted off my shoulders, because I felt like the progress was happening and it was going to happen at some point, and I just I can't put the feeling in words, but it's probably mind blowing, if you must call it that, because it's something that I've worked for so long, and I kept the tears back because emotionally you do get emotional, because it's the first one, and always the first one is the one that once the first one is there, then very soon after another one comes. So yeah, hopefully that is truth. There's truth in that sentiment, and hopefully we can move forward and get another one quicker. And it doesn't take me 10 years to get my next one, basically.
I'm sure it won't do. Well, you were very complimentary to the crowd afterwards in Germany. Your post-match interview said some very nice words about them, and it was, of course, the second event that we've had back with the fans. What was it like having the fans back and being able to enjoy your famous walk-on and routine with them again?
It's great. It's what the only way dart should be played, actually. I mean, PDC and Sky Sports and all these people put up a great show for the audience, but as a player, to play in front of a crowd is obviously the best, and that German crowd was so respectable. I know that the Ian White game, there was a few mishaps from individuals, but not the crowd. But I mean, even the Devon Petersen games, there was no booing, there was no whistling, there was no crowd interfering. Very knowledgeable, very respectful. It reminded me a lot of the match play crowd, because the people that were there, they were there for the darts, they were there as darting fans, and a lot of the times when you get the bigger crowds, you kind of lose that darting fan, the mature darting fan, basically. And it was fantastic just to have them roar and scream when you throw the 180s, and just see the excitement and the disappointment on their face. I mean, it's either or, but it's crazy. It's how dart should be played, and the only way it should be played.
But unfortunately, it's back to no fans next week with the World Grand Prix being played behind closed doors. Regardless of that, though, it's going to be your debut in the tournament. How excited are you to play the double start major for the first time?
Any major is a great major for me. I won't lie. It's obviously being in a position to qualify for it. I felt like I didn't want to put myself under any pressure to qualify for the tournament, and I made it not with ease, but I qualified at the autumn series, which kind of relaxed me for the European, and it was fantastic. I mean, I've watched this tournament as a fan over the years, and it's one of the most interesting ones, because you see players minds get frazzled because you don't play this way, so you don't move out from the outside thing into the inside thing, and So yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It's fantastic to be amongst the elite again, or just amongst the elite first time. And qualifying for tournaments other than the Europeans, the Player Championships, and the World Championships. I mean, being in all of the majors now, it just kind of sculpts your career and just changes the way in which you look at opportunities. And I feel like it could be a great 2020, regardless of obviously everything happening.
The Grand Prix is such a unique event with that double start. What's your experience with double start in the past? Have you played many tournaments before with that format?
No, not at all. I mean, in a practice, I use like I play games like Frustration and just check out finishes. So we're not playing games with double start. I played one tournament when I moved over to the UK, a double start, and I played with Joe in the final. So yeah, that's really my own experience. But I've been working out, planning my game and the structure and the mapping out of how I want to go it about my 501. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and it's a unique tournament, and going to be fantastic. I mean, everybody, there's opportunity, there's blood in the water with Michael Van Gogh. We're not playing at his best. There's all these different players, and you look at the draws as well, scintillating draws, and yeah, there's certainly going to be some upsets, and yeah, there's certainly going to be some great darts thrown.
We're all looking forward to it. And lastly, before we let you go, we should ask as well what your win and the success that you're having this year could do for darts in South Africa and the rest of the continent. We know from past World Cups, the videos that have been shared online from back home, people watching you play. Could we potentially see the PDC resurrect the South African Masters as a World Series event? What do you see really for the future of darts in South Africa?
South Africa, I mean, the response I got, like, it's been massive. It's been... So I didn't expect it to be this big. I mean, being on the front page of newspapers, headlines every hour on TV, top of the sport headlines, and so on and so forth. And these are areas kept for football, rugby, and cricket. So to see a dart player there that is also from South Africa, which is crazy. And I've got so many messages and inspiring words as well from many individuals that have been inspired by the performance and want to take up the sport like seriously as well. So I'm hoping that if there's even only one person that actually comes over and participates in a Q school in the future years and has a tour card, and if it just needs to change one person's life, and then I've lived my dream, and hopefully, like you say, with the World Series, I think that will ignite the love for the sport even more and bring people closer to the darts game because it's so accessible and can be used for kids as well. At schools and so on. So I think that there's an entire dynamic that is just waiting to erupt with the sport of darts in Africa.
Well, fingers crossed for that. Great to hear the reaction that you've had back home to success, and congratulations again on what you've been able to achieve, winning your first title of the weekend, and wish you all the best for the World Grand Prix next week and for the rest of the year as well.
I appreciate that, my man. I appreciate chatting to you guys, and yeah, hopefully we can catch up and Devon Petersen will be the World Grand Prix champion. If not, then we'll just have to wait for other tournaments.